your place even fits or who you are in this whole process.
Totally. Did you feel like at a disadvantage? I mean, I guess there were 4 of you, but did you feel like at a disadvantage, because it was so much, like a summer house, people that had this history, and like even though there were like 4 newbies, you didn't really know all 4 of them.
I kind of expected as a newbie, I guess you could say that, it's not about me. Really, but I have something to offer. I have something to bring to the table, and at the end of the day, that's going to be good enough for me. So yeah, I wasn't worried about like who is like the boisterous or who's the loudest or who's making the most like drama. But at the same time, I was like kind of seeing who was who in the
That makes
house.
sense.
Yeah. It took a couple days.
Now, well, a couple days is not bad.
No, it wasn't.
Now, I've done a deep dive into your Instagram, so it seems like, you don't mind a night out with a little tequila. Like, did you... Listen, Summer House is notorious for their parties, and I think Winter House certainly matched it, if not upped it.
We're up there. We were definitely giving a run for their money, for sure.
Did you know what to expect as far as, like, the parties and, like, how these parties really could be?
No, I had no... Those were surprisingly more of a shock than, like... It brought me back to, like, when my brother was in a fraternity. And like, there was just, like, a constant party, day in, day out. And I was like... I had to call my brother after the 3rd day. I was like, Jared, like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, he's like, it's in your blood. You're fine. Just more water. Hydrate.
It really was... were you just literally... Like, okay, I'm hungover in Stowe, Vermont this entire time, like every day?
It was a little challenging. But, those hydration packets and, making sure you had a nice little smoothie or something to keep you regular was important.
It's like the hair of the dog, right?
It is.
Works.
It is. Actually, unfortunately, it does work better than most would say.
I have a friend that I go out with, and if she goes hard, she literally needs like 3, maybe 2 days to like. It's like the next day, she's like, "What do you mean you're going out?" I'm like, "Well, that was last night. What does that have to do with tonight?" And I'm not kidding. Literally, it's a 2 to 3 day process.
You got to learn to rally.
I kind of think so.
Oh, in this city, you rally.
Yeah. It is New York City.
Amen.
So okay, let's talk like first impressions. So you go in, you watch a little Summer House. So let's just start with like Kyle and Amanda. What are your first impressions? And I'm going to lump them together.
Absolutely. No, I'm like, okay, lovely couple. They've been together, got a little back history. They've been together for years. All right. They've had some little ups and downs. Okay. I'm like, wow, normal couple. I was like, okay, they're cool. They're great. And Kyle was really nice, very welcoming.
What about like Austin and Craig?
Austin was the first person I think that gave me a hug. But yeah, it's so funny because I think their personalities are so fun and like fun loving. So it's hard not to just love them and laugh with them.
Didn't you just do something? Weren't you just at their pillow talk?
Yes.
They were just in New York. Listen,
I was so proud of their, going to the town hall or town hall theater and doing their podcast live. Like, that was very impressive. I had off to them, and I had a great time. I laughed and laughed and laughed.
What was the best thing about Pillow Talk and seeing them live and being part of the show, really?
Best part were the audience questions at the end. They really stuck it to them, put them in some tight corners. It was pretty funny.
What did people want to know the most? Was it Paige? What's up with Paige?
Absolutely. It was Paige and, Austin, how do you feel like with everyone hating you? Like, how do you taking it? And he's like...
Right. Like, what am I going to say to that?
Yeah, he shouldn't be, but, people give him a bad rep.
What were your first impressions of Paige and Sierra?
Paige, I was very impressed with her style. I was like, okay, she's really pulling out some great looks. I'm like, I was like, does she model? Oh my God. I'm like, okay. And I'd seen her on Amazon, and I do some work with Amazon as well. So I was like, okay, we're going to be friends.
Paige has it. Paige has it going on, right?
Yeah. And then Sierra, like, I was like, okay, sisters, like, they roll together, they're tight, and I'm like, I see the vibes coming from them, and they're definitely showing up. Like, these looks are just drop.
Listen, Bravo certainly knows how to cast attractive people. Let's face it. Of course, yourself included, obviously.
Thank you. I'll take a little bit of that, but they look great.
Listen, I see nothing wrong with either of them.
Yes.
What were your first impressions of Lindsay?
My first impressions of Lindsay were absolutely not. What is like she's wild. She is gonna be like when she came to the house, it was like a third or fourth day of partying, and like that was when I was like, I don't even know about this. And she comes in with a fireball, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like so her like came in like a tornado. Like it was one of those things where I was like kind of bracing myself, like I don't know if I can roll with her.
Did you know, like, I mean, I guess having watched Summer House, but not really, like, it was just, did you know the energy that is Lindsay?
I didn't know it was like as much. Like no, I didn't see that. I didn't see enough of like a show to be like, oh well, that's Lindsay. That's her vibe. I was like, literally when I watched the show, oh she's hot. Like that's cool.
Were you, because she came a little later, so, I mean, who were you, like, as a single, you're single, so, like, who were you drawn to physically the most? We have Lindsay, we just talked about
Well,
Paige,
the first person
Sierra.
I was attracted to was Gabby. You know, when she was a newbie as well, and you know, Jules and I go way back, and we have more of a friendship than anything. So I don't know if like we would ever cross that line.
You don't think you would ever cross
I
that
don't
line?
think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No, I mean she's hot, she's beautiful. I mean, life happens, but when at the house, Gabriella, I was like, oh, why haven't I met her in the modeling industry? Like, she's great. And I'm like, okay, let me get to know her a little bit. And she's very family oriented, and I was starting to get to feel like, oh wow, so am I. Okay, hey. And then she just said no. So that kind of.
So Gabby's out, and so you're just looking around. So
Yeah, then I was like, all right, back to having just a great time. You know, still just cooking up a storm, and you know, just enjoying my happy-go-lucky self.
And then things develop between you and Lindsay.
Yeah, and then I get to know Lindsay a little better. You know, and I have some sit-downs, and we kind of conversate and.
So what was it like? What was I mean, you mentioned like Lindsay is very confident, like you mentioned that on air. So
Yeah.
like, I guess, is that part of the attraction? Was that part of the attraction?
You know, the confidence is definitely one thing. You know, she's definitely driven and very passionate about her friends and her relationships. I found that very attractive as well. You know, I ride or die for my people, and you know, she doesn't miss a beat. She's there for her people, and I was like, damn, well, this is great. This could work.
Lindsay rides hard for her friends.
Absolutely.
So things happened, which we watched the show.
The show happened, yeah.
And then, the show ends, and then you guys were dating for a minute.
Yeah, we tried to give it a shot. We gave it a go. We're both in the city. Why not?
Like, how long were you basically trying to date? I'm just, because I mean, like, we know, but like, I'm just curious, like, what the timeline was. Was it like 3 days, 4 months? Like,
it was like a month.
Okay.
Month and a half.
So then Summer House seasons, yes?
Yeah,
Month
about
and a
that.